And a very good afternoon and welcome to everyone, one and all, on this special occasion here. Could this be the last game we see Featherstone Rovers playing at Post Office Road? The history that this club's produced over the years is absolutely unbelievable. It's be hopes not. It's Featherstone Rovers coming out of the field for this Stonebitter Championship game between Featherstone Rovers and Oldham. Your Featherstone Rovers team: number 1 Carl Gibson, 2 is Ikram Butts, 3 Freddie Bankay, 4 is Matt Calland, 5 is Owen Simpson, and 6 is Brett Roger, with 7 being Mark Nixon. In the forwards, with number 8 Steve Malloy, who's the captain, number 9 Graham Sutherwood, 10 Jason Sims, 11 is Leo Casey, 12 Joe Nadioli, and 13 Brendan Touter. With substitutes being number 14 Alex Thompson and 15 Richard Gunn. Your Oldham team just waiting for them to come out onto the field. Number 1 Paul Topping, 2 is Alfie Goulburn, 3 is Mike Neal, 4 Darren Abraham, 5 is Paul Davidson, 6 is Steve Gartland, 7 is Martin Crompton, 8 Craig Richards, 9 is David Stevenson, 10 is Jason Teamew, 11 Gary Lord, 12 Joe Famalo, and 13 Mike Coetti, with substitutes being number 14 Gary Burns and 15 David Bradbury. Your referee for today's match is Mr. Robert Connolly from Wigan. Well, we couldn't have picked a better, you call it a winter's day, a summer's day, spring day, autumn day, no matter what day you call it, it's the conditions are absolutely perfect for today's Stonebitter Championship game. At least the sun's shining on Featherstone Rovers and Oldham this afternoon. Oldham, of course, and Salford deciding not to merge into what's known as the Super League, and full credit for them 2 clubs. They're going it alone, no matter which team gets picked to represent Manchester in Rupert Murdoch and Maurice Lindley's Super League. And the feeling among the Feather supporters is the votes, which has been decided on Tuesday evening. A lot of supporters are also deciding to say no to the merger. So full marks to these 2 teams. Both got good traditions, especially Featherstone Rovers, looking back at the record since they joined the league in 1921-22. It's unbelievable. Featherstone Rovers have won every honour in the game. Maurice Lindsay's come across and saying, I'm sorry, Featherstone Rovers have got to cease to exist. It's a very sad affair. The Featherstone Rovers public are absolutely in arms about the job, and we've had a very big response this morning, a sponsored march from Pontefract to Featherstone, and the turnout was absolutely unbelievable. So Rovers playing from left to right as we look at the pitch. Oldham winning the toss, so it'll be Featherstone Rovers to kick off. Oh, yeah. So David Ward having to make a few numerous changes, 3 matches in a week on these hard grounds, taking its toll at the end of the season. And like we're saying, when Rupert Murdoch and Maurice Lindsay's Super League in the summer months, God help the players' arms and knees. So Rovers get the game underway. So it's Oldham with Martin Crompton, gives it to Craig Richards. Craig Richards, of course, had a game on for Featherstone Rovers earlier on in the season. Penalty kick to Oldham. That tackle bit high, that. Number 13 there, Mike Coetti, running the ball in hard. So it'll be Craig Richards. Runs the ball in. Good defence that ball being kicked out here on the gantry. That's the first ever on this gantry here at Featherstone Rovers. The ball going into the gantry. So big number 12 there, Joe Famalo, runs the ball in hard, plays the ball. Gary Lord with the ball, runs it in, but Graham Sutherwood there makes the tackle. Good defence that by Grange. So the man and ball, so it's Martin Crompton. Switch of direction there. Gives the ball there. Number 6, Stevie Gartland, trying to get that ball through. Number 3 there, Mike Neal. Tackle 2 metres short, so it's Martin Crompton trying to get his troops marched up, but that's a good hard tackle, that. Steve Malloy there, good one-man tackle, that, so it's Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton to Mike Coeity. Mike Coeity there gives it to number 5, Paul Davidson, but good defence by Rovers. That's good defence by Rovers. Martin Crompton, a lot of people saying that was the 6th and last tackle, but the referee saying not. Well, referee penalising Rovers for offside, but that ball penalising Oldham there, but surely that should be a 20-metre tap. Referee should have played advantage here for Rovers, give him a 20-metre tap, but referee Mr Connolly says no. Penalty kick, so it's Sutherwood, gives it to Steve Malloy. So it's Jason Sims. Jason Sims runs it in. 10 metres inside, Oldham's out the field, so it's Sutherland with the ball now there to Brendan Toulter. Brendan Toulter taking this defence on, and Darren Abraham there making the tackle. So it's Graham Sutherwood to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there to Brett Roger. Brett Roger there to Leo Casey. Leo Casey there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan there wanting Owen Sims to come inside, losing the ball in the tackle. But Rovers, I must say, just going through the motion there, passing the ball on the line, no man run with the ball. And at the end there, Matt Callan there, tackle into touch, tried to get rid of the ball before he went into touch, but the ball rolled forward, so both a knock on.
We don't need to spread as much, keep them tight.
So it's Oldham with the ball, just outside their own 20-metre line, so it's Martin Crompton. Getting that ball there along the line, number 5 there. Paul Davison being tackled. So it's Gary Lord there with the A caps on, runs the ball in, but good defence that by Joe Nadioli. So it's Mike Coeity to Darren Abraham, but forward pass. Just inside Oldham's half of the field, that ball there from Mike Coeity there to Darren Abraham. Robert Conley there penalising Oldham for a forward pass, so it'll be a scrum down just about on this halfway line, just in front of us here on the gantry. So it's Mark Nixon. Oh, and number 12, Joe Famalo there, quick out of the pack. Referee set play on, so it's Brendan Toulter to Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers there now to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson just over the halfway line, and number 4 there, Darren Abraham making the tackle. 2 metres inside, Oldham's half of the field, so it's Leo Casey playing in the unfamiliar position there of second row is Leo. So it's Steve Malloy. Ball back there to Sutherwood now there to Brendan Toulter making the extra man. That little dummy Brendan Toulter there to Brett Roger, and that was a bit high. Referee playing advantages in Yes, he played advantage. He spotted the high tackle. That's good refereeing by Bob Connolly there. He played the advantage to Rovers because Brett Roger was still running, but the tackle was high. But that was absolutely excellent play there by Brendan Toulter. That little dummy there and bringing Brett Rogers on the ball inside. And here goes a chance here for Frederick Bankay to open the scoring for either side this afternoon. It's still Rovers 0, Oldham 0. So Frederick Bankay, chance here to put 2 points on the board for Rovers, successful and all. It's Featherstone Rovers 2, thanks to that penalty conversion to Frederick Bankay, Oldham 0. So Martin Crompton it is to get the game started. Mark Nixon taps that ball, gives it to Joe Nadioli. Joe Nadioli running out wide. Good run that by Joe Nadioli, reaches his own 20-metre line, so it's Sutherland with the ball now. To Ickenham Butt off his wing, helping his forwards out. But good defence that by number 10, Jason Team making the tackle. So that ball out wide there to Leo Casey down that left-hand side, but good defence by Oldham. So it's Steve Malloy there, over the halfway line. Number 8 there, Craig Richards, just hanging on to him. Mike Coiti below. So it's Brendan Tota on the third tackle there. 5 metres in short side, Oldham's half of the field. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood now there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon, that little kick throw. Oh, and Alfie Goldborn there. The ball hasn't gone into touch. It's all on. He's lost the ball. And Rovers possession. Referee says play on. But Rovers just couldn't play that ball properly because Oldham were coming back on side. Referee said play on. So it's Brendan Tota. Brett Rogers it is. Brett Rogers just tackled 2 metres short of that Oldham try line. So it's Sutherwood. Oh, and Graham Sutherwood, no way could it. And that's a penalty kick to Rovers. Referee catching Oldham onside. Here's another chance for Frederick Bankay to put 2 more points on the board. But that situation created with that little kick, grubber kick there by Mark Nixon, Alfie Goldborn on the Oldham wing, decided to let the ball go, thinking the ball was going to go in touch behind him, but the ball bobbled about. As luck has it for the Rovers players, chasing Mark Nixon's kick, the ball kept in play. And from that situation, Rovers got possession. Brett Rogers tackled just short, trying to play the ball. Graham Sutherwood tackled before he got the ball from acting out back. And Mr. Connolly there penalising the Oldham players for being offside. So here goes Frederick Bankay, same position, same result, straight between the middle of the post. It's Rovers 4, Oldham 0. So Martin Crompton once again gets the game going. Oh, and Joe Nadioli there just kept himself in the field of play. Looking at that the far touch judge there, he was right on the line. I thought Joe Nadioli might have put a foot on that in-goal area line, but the touch judge says not. So, well, took that by Joe Nadioli. So it's Sutherwood there. So it's Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy. Tackle just short of the halfway line. Now it's Brendan Tota. Brendan Tota just inside the Oldham half of the field. Craig Richards there making the tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon once again playing his kicking game, kicking towards Alfie Goldborn's wing that time. And Alfie Goldborn. Oh, and Alfie Goldborn making a right ash of it. That'll be a drop out, but once again, absolute immaculate kicking that by Mark Nixon. Another string to his ball for Mark Nixon. This is what the Featherstone Rovers haven't seen a lot of Mark Nixon do, but with him playing in the scrum half role, he's taking over kicking duties and he's had 2 absolutely brilliant kicks already in this first quarter of the game, putting Alfie Goldborn especially under tremendous amount of pressure. And Alfie Goldborn there making a right ash of things here. So Martin Crompton, that's a good kick that by Martin Crompton, but that's a good take that by Joe Nadioli, running backwards. And once again, Joe Nadioli through the line, but Darren Abraham just getting back there to ankle tap him. Brilliant play that by Joe to Jason Sims. That looked like a forward pass, but referee set play on from Ickenham Butt. Excellent play by Joe Nadioli, setting this position up for Rovers. So it's Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon now there to Brendan Tota. Oh! Martin Crompton. An head-high tackle there on Leo Casey. Well, I've seen players walk for less than that. That was just right round the Adam's apple. That tackle there by Martin Crompton. I've seen the referee get the red cards out for less than that in this game of Rugby League, even this season. But Mr. Connolly there taking the sympathetic view there on Martin Crompton. But that one is the more back tackles that swinging round Leo Casey's head. So once again, another penalty kick to Rovers. Once again, Frederick Bankay. I think sometimes this time is just about near the post. And once again, the same results. A penalty conversion there from Frederick Banquet. That's 3 to his name. It's Rovers 6, Oldham 0. So Martin Crompton once again gets the game started, and once again Joe Nadioli, just like an action replay, runs it in. This time he's tackled well inside his own 20-metre area, but just lost his foot in that little bit, so it's Ickram but off his wing. Runs it in, but that's good defence that by Gary Lord. Jason Timu it was who made the tackle, so it's Matt Calland being tackled there by his opposite number there. Gets rid of the ball in the tackle. Well, the touch judge there is flagging, and I don't think the touch judge realised that Matt Calland had got rid of the ball.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, scrum down, Oldham's feed. Martin Crompton with the ball there. Gets that ball there to Paul Topping, the full-back linking up. Good defence by Rovers. So it's Joe Famalo there on the second tackle. Jason Sims making the tackle just inside that Rovers 20-metre area. Number 1, Paul Topping there. Ex-Swinton player, of course, Paul Topping. So it's Martin Crompton doing the runaway around there. That's good play. Oh, he just couldn't release that ball there to Mike Coiti.
Alan, you don't want top here just driving it in. Try and get a message off.
So referee there calling Jason Sims out.
Yeah.
Must be going back to the last incident.
Yeah.
So here's a chance for Oldham. Paul Topping it is, the Oldham goal kicker. To put 2 points on the board for Oldham. 6 points to 0 in Rovers' favour. 3 penalty goals to Frederick Banquet. So here we go. Paul Topping. Bullet-like kick straight between the middle. It's Oldham. 2 points on the score sheet. Featherstone Rovers 6, Oldham 2. So Brett Rogers it is, gets the game underway. Martin Crompton is it there. Number 12, Joe Famalo, running it in, first tackle. Good running that, oh, and referee penalising. Number 10, Jason Timu. Referee penalising, I just can't see it. Is it Leo K? Gary Lord? Is it Leo Casey? An alleged eye tackle. So it's number 9, David Stevenson. Gives it there to Jason Timu. So that Rovers 20-metre line. Now it's Martin Crompton to Craig Richards. Running across field, but that's good defence that. Graham Sutherland on top, Jason Sims below. And once again, good defence that by Graham Sutherland and Jason Sims again, round acting half back. So it's Martin Crompton to Mike Coiti. Mike Coiti there, wanting to get rid of the ball in the tackle, but that's good defence that. Brett Rogers there and Brendan Toter, the two New Zealanders, making the tackle. So it's Martin Crompton looking for runners to Paul Topping, but Matt Callan there makes the tackle. Good defence that by Matt Callan. Play the ball. So it's Martin Crompton.
These centres have got to double up. They're doing nothing.
And Owen Simpson taking that kick through there by Martin Crompton. Seemed to ease it out. It's Carl Gibson trying to bring the play out of the danger area, out in his own 20-metre area. Gary Lord there making the tackle, so it's Ikram Butt. Ikram Butt there, after one tackle, but Mark Kuwaiti there finally brings Ikram Butt to the ground, but Rovers still camped in their own 20-metre line, so it's Sutherwood to Joan Adioli. Joan Adioli, that's good play by Joan Adioli. And Oldham caught offside. Gary Lord just moving inside the 10. Penalty kick to Rovers. Frederick Banquet with the ball. And that's a good touchline. And once again, Frederick Banquet makes a good 30 metres downfield. That's an excellent kick by the Rovers centre. So it's Steve Malloy. That's good play by Steve Malloy, but excellent tackling that by Mike Kuwaiti round the bootlaces. So it's Jason Sims. Rovers 10 metres away from the Oldham line. 4 more tackles in this sequence of 6. So it's Leo Casey. Leo Casey, he'll drive it in. That's good driving that by Leo Casey. Succumbs to a 3-man Oldham tackle on the 3rd tackle. 2 metres short from the Oldham try line. So it's Mark Nixon to Brendan Toulton. Brendan Toulton just has to check, comes back inside, gives the ball there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan, oh, it's dangerous stuff, but that's back to one. Owen Simpson gets that ball to Matt Callan. Matty Callan there runs it in. Matt Callan there to Frederick Banquet. Frederick Banquet there to Owen Simpson, goes back inside. But that's good tackling, that should be back to one. So it's Rovers on the 2nd tackle, 2 metres still short of the Oldham try line, looking for the first try in the match. So it's Steve Malloy to Jason Sims. Rovers in the middle of the park, this is where they can make the most from, so it's Mark Nixon. That long old ball there to Matt Callan. Matt Callan, that little dummy! And Matt Callan, 2 tries on Thursday night again witness, opens his account today. First try of the match goes to Matty Callan. It's Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 2. So Frederick Banquet once again finds himself left-hand side of the field, strikes the ball. He's got the distance, it's 4 out of 4, 100% record for Frederick Banquet in today's match. 4 kicks, 4 conversions. Featherstone Rovers 12, Oldham 2.
Move Lordy up to 10. Brad's in 2nd row.
So Martin Crompton, once again, gets the game underway. And once again, ball comes to Joan Adioli, takes it on the full. Hill runs it in, up to his own 20-metre line. That's good running. Gary Lord making the tackle and Craig Richards. So it's Ikram Butt off his wing. That's all on. Graham Sutherwood just kicking that ball back. That's okay. The ball went back, so it's Leo Casey picks the ball up. So it's Sutherwood to Steve Malloy. He'll look for the halfway line, but good tackling that by David Stevenson, the Oldham number 9. So it's Sutherwood there from acting half-back, runs the ball in, but Jason Timu coming across, making the tackle on the Rovers number 9. Just inside the Oldham half of the field. It's Carl Gibson. Once again, Mark Nixon there, that little grubber kick, testing Alfie Goulburn out on that far wing. And this time Alfie Goulburn catches the ball 15 metres inside Oldham's half of the field. Paul Topping there, linking up from full-back. Oldham, that's on the 2nd tackle. That's a good tackle, that. Brendan Toulton making the tackle. That looked like a forward pass here in the Gantry, but the referee says play on, so it's Martin Crompton trying to spin that ball out wide. Number 6, Steve Gartland, just about on the halfway line. Ex-Oldham player, of course, Stevie Gartland. So it's Mike Kuwaiti on this near side. And referee Bob Connolly there this time catching Rovers moving within the 10-metre line. No, penalty kick to Oldham. So Martin Crompton puts that ball into touch. Rovers putting pressure on themselves. So it's David Stevenson. Taps that ball, gives it to Teemu. Big Jason Teemu there, runs the ball in the first tackle. So it's Gary Lord to Martin Crompton. Switch of play to Stevie Gardland. And we've got number 15 on now, David Bradbury. Craig Richards going off substitute. So it's Gary Lord with the ball, but being met, what a tackle that was by Rovers. So it's Stevenson to Martin Crompton to Mike Coeity. Mike Coeity gets that ball in, and that's a good tackle, is that. That was an absolutely brilliant man-to-man tackle, that. So it's Matty Callan. Matt Callan there to Frederick Bankay. Frederick Bankay there on the run. But that's good play, that by Frederick Bankay. So it's Matt Callan. Matt Callan now to Joan Adioli. So it's Sutherwood to Mark Nixon, to Brendan Toolter, Brendan Toolter there, taking this defence on. Good play that by Rovers. Frederick Bankay on this wing, so it's Sutherwood now there. Sutherwood gives the ball there to Mark Nixon. He's testing more up in art. And who's got that ball? Frederick Bankay! Oh, he's an hero! 4 out of 4 goal kicks, and that high kick, it was a New Zealand-French connection. Mark Nixon kicked that ball up. The ball had got snow in it, it went that high. And over there, Frederick Bankay picked the ball out of the air, just like somebody picking strawberries out in the field. And he just picked the ball up in Frederick Bankay, rose above Paul Topping to plant that ball over the Oldham try line. It's Rovers 16, Oldham 2, 4 points to Frederick Bankay.
Run him off! Get him off! Get him to get him off! John! John!
So Frederick Bankay converting his own try. 5 goals out of 5 kicks this afternoon. And to go with it, an absolutely superb try off Mark Nixon's kick. It's Rovers 18, Oldham 2. Once again, that kick in by Mark Nixon creating havoc in this Oldham defence. Is that 2 grubber kicks along the line, testing Alfie Goldburn out twice. And the high kick there, absolutely superb kick by Mark Nixon. He's having a right game this afternoon in the Rovers number 7 shirt. And once again, Mark Nixon, brilliant take that by Mark Nixon. What a game he's having, and this man and all, Joan Adioli, runs the ball in, first man every time, making ground, so it's Ikram Butts. But this time, good defence there by Mark Stevenson. Leo Casey there trying to make headway, so it's Steve Malloy, ball back inside to Brendan Toolter. Tackled inches short of that halfway line. David Lord making the tackle. So it's Jason Sims, he's over the halfway line. That's good running by Jason Sims, but Gary Lord coming back, making the tackle. 10 metres inside, Oldham's half of the field. It's Sutherwood with the ball. Sutherwood now there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there, once again testing Alfie Goldborn out. Alfie Goldborn, rightly so, praying for the ball to go into touch because he was in no position to get that ball, and the ball did finally go into touch just inside that Oldham's 20-metre area. It's a scrum down with Oldham scrum half Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. It's still Rovers 2 tries, 5 goals, 18 points. Oldham 1 goal, 2 points. So it's Oldham, Stevie Gartland, but that's good defence, and that's all on. Losing the ball in the tackle, so it's Frederick Bankay. Picks that loose ball up. Excellent play there by Oldham down the middle of the field, but Stevie Gartland there losing the ball. Frederick Banquet picking up, so it's Joe Nadioli. That little dummy. So it's Jason Sims just losing his feet there just before he got to the halfway line. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toulter, juggling with the ball, runs it in. Good play that by Brendan Toulter. A quick play of the ball there by those forwards. So it's Sutherwood with the ball now there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there, that little kick through. It's the chase is on. Frederick Banquet, oh, he just couldn't take that ball. And Stevie Gartland coming on. All he had to do was catch the ball and he had to run into touch. And referee saying that was the last tackle, so giving Oldham the benefit of the doubt. It could have easily been a scrum down with Featherstone Rovers' feed.
It's a Paul Davidson, tell him to get in and get some work done. He's walking about.
And that's good defence, that. Steve Malloy there coming across, making the crunch tackle. So it's Mike Coiti looking for that halfway line, but Graham Sutherwood there making the tackle, but quick play of the ball. Number 5 there, Paul Davison. Brendan Toulter there making the tackle. Oh, and Mark Nixon spotting the danger. There did the Oldham kicker, that's good play, that Mark Nixon in that situation, so it's Carl Gibson. Tries to run the ball out, but Darren Abraham there up there making the tackle. It ain't Darren Abraham, that's number 14, Gary Burns on the substitute. So it's Ikram Butt from acting half back. That's good running by Ikram Butt. We've got 15-metre little run that, and it's Matt Callan now, the left centre. Good running by Matt Callan. Darren Abraham having the second bite of the cherry, as they say. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood now there to Steve Malloy. Just couldn't get that ball there to Brett Roger. Would have been a forward pass, a bit of pass to that. Steve Malloy knew that, so it's Leo Casey. Leo Casey to Joe Nadioli, to Frederick Banquet, that little dummy. But that's good defence, that's by number 5, Paul Davison on this near side. Play the ball, so it's Jason Sims to number 7, Martin Nixon. Once again, he hoists the bomb. Martin Crompton underneath the ball. That's a knock on and offside. Martin Crompton, though, were under tremendous amount of pressure, but once again, it's that kick there by Mark Nixon what's creating all the havoc in the Oldham defence. So once again, another penalty kick to Frederick Banquet, but I must say, if anybody has got a wrong side, it is on his wrong side this time. He's 100% up to press, 5 out of 5 in this match. We're still 4 minutes to go to half-time yet, so let's hope he can keep his 100% record up. And he certainly does. It don't matter what side he's kicking them from this afternoon. It's another 2 points to Frederick Banquet. Another 2 points to Featherstone Rovers. It's Featherstone Rovers 20, Oldham 2. So Martin Crompton and Joe Nadioli there. That's good play by Joe Nadioli. Down on one knee, letting the ball at his chest and catching it on the rebound. So it's Carl Gibson. Mike Coiti there making the tackle on the Rovers number 1. James Sutherwood now gives it to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy. What a season Steve Malloy's had. So it's Jason Sims. Up to the halfway line, so it's Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there, and Frederick Banquet there. Half on the ball, half on the attacker coming to meet him. Knock on. Scrum down. Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. The ball's in. Out to Oldham. Paul Davison off his wing, runs it in. Frederick Banquet there, and Brett Rogers make the tackle. So it's Martin Crompton. Number 15, David Bradbury. Running across field. Nowhere to go. Steve Malloy, Carl Gibson gets to grips. Yep. So big Joe for Marlowe there. The adjacent team who has upset number 10, so it's Martin Crompton to Gartland. Gartland there getting that ball along the line. So it's Burns with the ball. Burns there gets that ball to Paul Topping. Paul Topping there, but that's excellent tackling. Losing the ball in the progress, but Rovers' defence absolutely magnificent in that situation. Steve Malloy, where he come from, there's only him knows. But it was the Owen Darren Abraham must have been offside there for the double marker, standing at the side of the marker. But referee just turning a blind eye on that situation, same play on. So Ickleham Butts. So it's Sutherwood with the ball. Sutherwood there to Brendan Toter. But Martin Crompton standing his ground. So it's Leo Casey. That's good running that by Leo Casey. So it's Sutherwood. Back there to Mark Nixon, and Mark Nixon says, let's get out of this hole. And once again, Alfie Goldberg there. Well, that was an easy take for Alfie Goldberg. The ball just standing up. And Alfie Goldberg there runs the ball in. Tries to get between Steve Malloy and Matt Callan, but to no avail. So it's Joe from Marlowe looking at that Rovers 20-metre area. But that's good defence that by Brendan Toter and Jason Sims. So it's Martin Crompton to Gary Lord. Gary Lord there runs the ball in just inside that Rovers 20-metre area. And Brett Rogers it is what makes the tackle, so it's Darren Abraham for Oldham, to Martin Crompton, to Burns, Burns to Mike Kawita, Mike Kawita there trying to stretch this Rovers defence. That's a marvellous tackle though, gets that ball up. But Rovers defence swarming all over Oldham, Oldham trying to keep this ball alive. But no, Nandy Oley there just waiting for the man to come into him, so it's Martin Crompton, and referee spotting that forward pass. And Martin Crompton there just looking at the referee, gives him the nod as if to say, yes ref, you were right. Scrum down. It'll be Mark Nixon to feed the scrum. Just about a minute left before half time. Be Mark Nixon to feed the scrum. The ball's in. The ball's out to Rovers. So it's Carl Gibson there. That's good running by the Rovers fullback, but Stevie Garland there, quick to the tackle. So it's Mark Nixon to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy there. Looking for the getting the ball in the tackle there to Ickleham Butt. Ickleham Butt over the halfway line, gives it to Carl Gibson, and Martin Crompton there makes the tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Jason Sims. Just about 8 metres inside Oldham's half of the field. Seconds ticking away now there to half time, so it's Leo Casey. Leo Casey tackled just 2 metres short of that Oldham 20-metre line. Joe for Marlowe there making the tackle, so it's Brett Rogers, change of direction, Brett Rogers there. Well, that's good tackling that by David Bradbury. So it's Mark Nixon there, that little dummy, that little grubber kick through. Oh, and that looked like obstruction. Referee says a shoulder charge, play on. So surely we must be in the very last seconds now in this first half. An excellent half for Rovers, leading this moment in time by 20 points to 2. So it's Mike Kawiti, nobody to pass to, and Carl Gibson making the tackle. 5 metres inside, Rovers half the field. Martin Crompton with the ball now to Burns. Burns there, that little dummy gets that ball up there to Gary Lord, to Joe from Marlowe. Joe from Marlowe to Darren Abraham. And this wasn't what Featherstone Rovers needed just before half time. Darren Abraham, I'm surely the O2 will go after this conversion attempt. Oldham get the first try on the board seconds before half time. Darren Abraham scoring the try. It's Rovers 20, Oldham. Wanting to miss this.
Oh, me go.
So Paul Topping it is, trying to convert that Darren Abraham try. Strikes the ball straight between the middle. Featherstone Rovers 20, Oldham 8. Well, that try being set up there by that Long run by Mike Coiti down the right-hand side of the field. Seemed to have nowhere to go. He was tackling midstream, and from a quick play of the ball, Joe Famalo there burst the first line of the Rovers defence, drew Carl Gibson, and an absolutely peach of a pass there to Darren Abraham, backing up like a good centre should be, to plant the ball over the try line, and obviously Port up in converting the try. Rovers 20, Oldham 8. Surely seconds to go before half time. So it's David Bradbury. He's out of tackles. Just inside that Rovers 20-metre area. Jason Timo there making the tackle. These Oldham forwards. So it's Martin Crompton. Turns the ball inside. So it's Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton there. Martin Crompton decided to creating something, but Rovers just getting their hand to that ball, pushing the ball over the try line. Drop kick to Featherstone Rovers underneath their own post, and Rovers at one stage leading by 20 points to 2, but Oldham just before half time really coming back strongly now in this game. There's still all to play for. So it's Frederick Bonke having to drop kick the ball out. So Joe Famalo, safety first every time. And there goes the half-time score at Post Office Road. An excellent start for Featherstone Rovers. Half-time score being Featherstone Rovers 20, Oldham 8. For Featherstone Rovers, Frederick Banquet a try, Matt Calland a try, and Frederick Banquet tagging on 6 goals, 6 out of 6 for him. In reply, Paul topping 2 goals, a Darren Abraham try. So all look forward to the second half. The second half's as good as the first half. We're in for an absolutely enthralling finish to this season here at Post Office Road. It's Rovers 20, Oldham 8. Right, Pete. Yeah. Welcome back to Post Office Road with this second half, this Stonebridge Championship game between Featherstone Rovers and Oldham. The half-time score being Featherstone Rovers 20, Oldham 8. After a brilliant start by Rovers, Frederick Banquet's penalty kicking at goal has been absolutely superb in that first half. He's kicked 6 out of 6. But Oldham in the last 5 minutes of the first half come back strongly with that Darren Abraham try. And beginning to start putting pressure on this Rovers defence, so Oldham's still a lot to offer in this game. So let's just hope that Featherstone Rovers can get their act together, get the tackling together, and let's hope they can end the season with a good win. Rovers 20, Oldham 8, second half beginning. Here we go. Martin Crompton getting the game underway. Carl Gibson picks that ball up with one hand. Full of confidence, Carl Gibson, just roll it back into his body. So it's Sutherwood to Joe Nadioli. Gary Lord making the tackle. So it's Jason Sims, one arm pass there to Ikram, but number 9 there, David Stevenson, making the tackle on the Rovers wingman. So it's Steve Malloy, out of one tackle, looking for that halfway line. Gary Lord there, standing in his way, making the tackle. So it's Leo Casey up to the halfway line. He's over the halfway line, is Leo Casey, but once again, good defence. Mike Coiti making the tackle. So it's Sutherwood. Sutherwood now there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there putting boat to ball. And I must say in that first half, Mark Nixon's kicking was absolutely immaculate. That time, not so good. The ball there, just that little bit too hard, that kick. Rolling dead, so it'll be a 20-metre tap for Oldham. So it's Stevenson, gives it there to the winger there, Paul Davidson. Jason Sims and Brendan Tote making the tackle. So it's Stevenson, runs the ball in, gets the ball away there to Martin Crompton, to Darren Abraham on that far side, has to cut back inside, nobody on the left-hand side of him. Brendan Tote there making the tackle. Not before he got the ball away there to number 14, Gary Burns. And Leo Casey penalised, and referee rightly so doing so. Just had to ankle tap Gary Burns there, just about who were going to play the ball, and referee rightly so deciding to penalise him, and that's putting Rovers under tremendous amount of pressure. Rovers having to make a substitution. Sims off the field and Richard Gunn on, and Richard Gunn straight away in the thick of things making the tackle. So it's Gary Lord there, but Leo Casey there and Steve Malloy. That's good defence by them two Rovers players there, Leo Casey and Steve Malloy. So it's Gary Burns on that side. And well, surely that should have been two knock-ons, but referee says no. He's wiped that tackle clean. But Gary Burns there trying to get that ball away in the tackle, lost control. Rovers couldn't capitalise on it, couldn't pick the ball up, and here we are. It's Darren Abraham on this side, gives it to Alfie Goulburn. Alfie Goulburn there trying to go down to Owen Simpson, but Owen Simpson there standing the ground making the tackle. So Gary Lord tackled 2 metres short of that Rovers try line. Oldham putting tremendous amount of pressure on this Featherstone Rovers try line. The start of the second half where they left the first, pressurising this Rovers defence. So it's Joe Famarlo. And Joe Famarlo awarded the try. And once again, the pressure there from the Oldham players there on this Featherstone Rovers defence. The Rovers defence wilting at the very last seconds. Joe Famarlo going in for Oldham's second try of the match. It's Featherstone Rovers 20, Oldham 12. So Paul Topping with the extras, right underneath the crossbar, makes no mistake. A 6-point try there. It's Rovers 20, Oldham 14. Hey. So Rovers really up again it now, with Steve Malloy having to come off. So Rovers got both the substitutes on.
Good running, Joe.
Pardon me, Jason Sims it is what's coming back on the field. So it's Gary Lord. Good defence that by Richard Gunn. So it's Stevenson now there to Mike Coeity. Tackle there by Leo Casey. So it's Martin Crompton getting that ball back inside. Referee set play on to Darren Abraham. It wasn't to knock on, it's the players' boots. So it's Gary Burns, that's crossing. Referee spotting that. That's an obstruction.
Alan, tell him to stay calm.
So that's a big relief for Rovers. Rovers really fighting to get hold of this ball in the second half. So once again, penalty kick to Frederick Bankay. And Frederick Bankay puts that ball into the stand just above us. So Leo Casey over the halfway line, but Martin Crompton makes the tackle. Along with Paul Topping, the Oldham number 1. So it's Richard Gunn there, runs into a brick wall. Runs into number 9 there, David Stevenson, nowhere to run. So it's Leo Casey. That's the third Rovers drive, tackle just short. That Oldham 20-metre line, quick play of the ball there to Sutherland. Sutherland getting that ball out wide there to Brendan Tooley. Brendan Toulter there, Martin Crompton there, finally gets to grips with him. So it's Mark Nixon from acting half-back, changes direction. But we're on the last tackle now, it's Graham Sutherwood from acting half-back to Matty Callan there, that little kick throw, it's all on. But Rovers not really pressurising that Oldham line. So it's Joe Formarlo trying to bring the ball out of defence on the second tackle. So it's Paul Davidson, and that's a good tackle that by Joe Nadioli on Paul Davidson.
Offside! Offside! Get the kicker.
So it's Martin Crompton there, that big kick downfield. And Carl Gibson there just waited for that ball to bounce into his body, takes it on the third bounce. Tries to reach the halfway line, but Joe Formarlo there and Paul Topping makes the tackle. And Paul Topping there not allowing Carl Gibson to get up to play the ball. And referee rightly so awards a penalty kick to Rovers, and once again Frederick Bankay punishes the Oldham team, pushing them back. Finds touch on this near side, so it's Sutherwood to number 10 Leo Casey, and big number 10 there Jason Timo makes the tackle. So it's Graham Sutherwood to Mark Nixon back inside there to Leo Casey, just inside that Oldham 20-metre area. Rovers 20, Oldham 14, so it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toulter, back to Mark Nixon now there to Joe Nadioli. So it's Owen Simpson now. Owen Simpson going for that try line. Oh, he looked like a try scorer there, but last-ditch tackling that by Stevenson. So it's Jason Sims. Good defence that by Oldham. So it's Brendan Toulter. Quick pans there to Brett Roger. To Carr, gets back inside there to Matt, to Brett Frederick Bankay. And that's the last tackle. That's the last tackle. That's the changeover. Oh, and that was a bit dodgy, that. Well, referee in the first place was going to penalise Oldham, I think it was, for tackling a Rovers player. So Martin Crompton kicks that penalty kick out. So number 10, Jason Timo, runs the ball in. And I think the referee's seen an infringement.
Just get Nick on, tell him to stay with the players, keep it clean, keep it clean.
And two penalty kicks there given away by Rovers, have took Oldham to within 10 metres of that Feathers Rovers Oldham 20-metre line. And that big drive in there by number 10 Jason Timo, just inside that Rovers 20-metre area. So it's Gary Burns to Paul Topping. Paul Topping there, trying to get that ball out wide there to David Bradbury on this side, but that's good defence by Rovers. So it's Joe Formarlo. Joe Formarlo runs the ball in. Good defence that by Leo Casey. Jason Sims, I should say. So it's Martin Crompton. Switch a player there to Mike Coiti. So it's Stevenson to Martin Crompton, to Gary Burns. Gary Burns now there to David Bradbury, turns back inside. Well, why doesn't the referee shout held in that situation? So Martin Crompton there to Paul Davison. That's good tackling by Rovers. Last tackle. And surely Oldham offside of that play of the ball. Referee says not. So it's Brendan Toolter. Switches back inside. So it's Sutherwood to Leo Casey. Leo Casey over that Oldham Featherstone 20-metre line, and you hear the raw shout, get on side. So it's Matt Calland. That's a good strong run by Matt Calland, but Darren Abraham there stuck to his man, made the tackle. So it's Mark Nixon to Richard Gunn. And Mark Kuwaiti there and Joe Famalo making the tackle, so it's Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon and Paul Davison there picks that Orchid bouncing ball up. Oldham back in possession. Just 6 points separating the two teams. Are trying a goal.
He wants to come in now and take some work off him. Let's put the fucking length on. We're with him, Steve.
So Alpha Goulburn it is, off his wing. Good defence that by Joe Nadioli. So it's Martin Crompton looking for the halfway line, but that's good defence, that. Richard Gunn there, picking Martin Crompton out there, making the superb tackle. Martin Crompton slow to get to his feet, plays the ball, so it's Paul Topping. That little dummy to his left, but Richard Gunn. 2 tackles on the top there by the Rovers substitutes. So it's Gary Burns there, and that's a gift that for Mark Nixon. Gary Burns just kicked straight into Mark Nixon's hands. Rovers in possession, 10 metres inside their own half of the field. So it's Joe Nadioli. Gets rid of that ball there to Owen Simpson. Owen Simpson there testing Alpha. Oh! And Paul Topping there, no need for that. Coming in, flopping over. Alfie Goulburn there tackled Owen Simpson, and Paul Topping, no need for it. Come over the top, made the flop. Referee rightly so, awarding Featherstone Rovers a penalty kick. Just near this touchline side, but for the handler had to kick it. He made a good 15 metres there, Frederick Bonke. So it's Sutherwood gives it to Leo Casey through the first line of defence. That's an absolutely superb run by Leo Casey on the first tackle. He's had a superb game as Leo. So it's Richard Gunn. Oh, that's a knock on. That's a knock on. Surely Gary, that was a knock on. Gary Burns there. Gary Burns going towards the line, but Frederick Banquet makes the tackle. So Darren Abraham trying to go from acting half-back. Well, I thought I saw a knock on there from that pass by Richard Gunn, but referee says no. So it's Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton, that little dummy. 2 metres short of that Featherstone Rovers try line. So it's Max Stevenson with the ball. Max Stevenson there. David Stevenson it is, the Oldham number 9, going towards that Rovers try line. He's tackled a metre short. So it's Martin Crompton to Joe Famalo, trying to cut inside, but that's good defence by Rovers. Brendan Toter and Matt Callan getting across, making the tackle, so it's Martin Crompton. Oh, and that's all on. That's bit of luck involved with that, but Joe Nadioli ends up for the ball for Rovers. Martin Crompton trying to use the inside pass. The ball ricocheting off a Rovers play straight into the hands of Jason Sims. He gets to Joe Nadioli. And from that, Rovers up to their own 20-metre area, so it's Nixon with the ball now there to Owen Simpson. Number 2, Alfie Goulburn, wrapping his opposite number up. And once again, Paul Topping has to come down with his knees in the tackle. So it's Mark Nixon on this near side. Tackled just about a metre in from this near touchline side. So it's Jason Sims to Richard Gunn. Richard Gunn is over the halfway line. Good defence by David Stevenson. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood, it's all on. Alfie Goulburn being tested out. Ooh, and Mark Nixon there. Gut kick and chase. So Graham Sutherwood there, that's good play by Graham Sutherwood. Tackling number 6, Steve Gartland. So it's Alfie Goulburn there. That's good defence that by Brendan Tutor. So it's Joe Famarlo, and the game's really hotting up here now at post. Play the ball, but surely Joe Nadioli were in front of him when he played that ball. Referee says not. And everybody shouting last tackle, but it's Paul Topping with the ball to Alfie Goulburn. Alfie Goulburn there gets rid of the ball there to Martin Crompton. Well, that was the last tackle on my counting, but referee says not.
Stephen! Linesman, why don't you signal his last tackle before you?
So Rovers making a substitution. Leo Clacy, who's just run his blood to water in this game, got to come off because surely he can't keep 80 minutes up at that pace, and Steve Malloy has to come off. And Mike Coetti plays the ball, gives it to Stevie Garland. Stevie Garland running across field, gets the kick in on the last tackle. And Carl Gibson takes it on the second goal. So that should be back to 1. Frederick Banquet kicking that kick through up there by Stevie Gartland. That's back to 1. So it's Richard Gunn. Well, Gary Lord there making the tackle.
He said ask him how he is, Alan.
So it's Steve Malloy. And that's an obstruction. That's a penalty kick to Rovers. That's a professional foul, is that? That's got to be a professional foul. So here's another chance for Frederick Bonke. 6 goals out of 6 attempts this afternoon. David Stevenson there been to serve 10 minutes. So there's him been for a professional foul there, tackling Carl Gibson without the ball. So Frederick Bonke, not this time. The ball just falling short, and we're still Oldham get possession. So it's Darren Abraham, gives the ball there to Paul Davidson. Well, good defence by Joe Nadioli. So it's Martin Crompton. He seems to make quick recoveries, does Martin Crompton. You know, like a dying wounded soldier about 5 minutes ago, but it seems to be okay now. So it's Mike Coetti. Well, that's good defence that by Brett Rogers. So it's Darren Abraham to Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton there, that big up and under. Testing Carl Gibson out this time, but this time Matt Callan. And Owen Simpson dives on that loose ball, the ball going back. So Matt Callan there trying to bring Rovers out to defence, trying to put them onto the attack. So it's Owen Simpson from acting half-back. Paul Topping making the tackle, and Mike Coetti also involved with the tackle. So it's Jason Sims and Mike Coetti there coming across. So it's Sutherwood to Ickenbot. Ickenbot looking for that halfway line, but Paul Topping standing his ground, making the tackle. We're on the last tackle. Rovers still 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Ball there to Carl Gibson. Carl Gibson there pumps that ball in the air, testing Paul Davison out. Oh, and the ball's going to bounce towards him. Oh, and Paul Davison there, he was lucky. by. He was standing, he was strolling about, he was taking a dog for a walk in the park. And Carl Gibson could have easily plucked that ball out of the air, could have been underneath the Oldham post. But that would have let off for Oldham. So it's Gary Lord. So it's Darren Abraham to number 10, Jason Timo, and Brendan Tutor makes the tackle on the big number 10. So it's Gartland to Martin Crompton, to Mike Coeity. So dangerous in them positions, Mike Coeity. So it's Paul Topping to Martin Crompton. Ball back inside there for Darren Abraham. Oh, and that ball going in no man's land. And here's a chance here for Matty Callan. If he can get round his man here, it's all on. Give it to Owen Simpson on this wing. He's taking Alfie Goulburn on. Let off for Featherstone Rovers, that pass from Darren Abraham there to inside there. Just went to straight. Could have gone to an Oldham player's hands. It could have been under post. It could have been 20 points each. It's all ifs and buts in this game of rugby league. But it's still Rovers hanging on to that 20 points to 14 lead. That's all on. No referee judging a knock on, so Oldham making another substitution. Gary Lork coming off and Craig Richards comes back onto the field. Just about 17 minutes left for playing this match. So it's Oldham's ball. Gary Burns getting that ball there to Gary Topping, to Alfie Goulburn. Alfie Goulburn there, and Brent Rogers makes the tackle. Round the shirt collar. Now it's Paul Topping. And once again, Owen Simpson makes the tackle. So it's Stevie Gartland to Martin Crompton, to Gary Burns, to David Bradbury. Gets that ball up there for Gary Burns. Gary Burns there trying to unleash the ball, but good defence that by Steve Malloy. Mike Coeity to Martin Crompton. Oldham really putting pressure on this Featherstone Rovers try line now. Tackle 2 metres short. So it's Gartland there with the ball to Martin Crompton, to Alfie Goulburn. And Alfie Goulburn, in a way, to be fair to the lad, he had to do something with that ball because the pass fell short of him. He got the boot to ball, kicked the ball on, but unlucky for him, the ball went in behind touch. So it's Graham Sutherwood there now to Frederick Bonke over the halfway line. Rovers making another substitution. Leo Casey coming off. Oh, and Brett Rogers took that ball. Brett Rogers, he's got Mark Dixon, he's inside. Mark Dixon, and that's a superb try. Brett Rogers gives the ball there, break through the first line of defence, and Mark Nixon there coming across, went to his left-hand side, and all the Oldham team could just do was just looking awesome, and that's no more or no less than Brett Rogers and Mark Nixon deserve. The creator of the try, he brought the bread out. He brought the bread out of the packet there, did Brett Rogers, and Mark Nixon put the butter on it and planted the ball between the posts. It's Rovers 24, Oldham 14, with a conversion to come from Frederick Bankey. Frederick Bankey, just about 10 metres from the post, no mistake. Rovers 26, Oldham 14. What about Bowman?
He never got his fish team. Well, at least his father did a few at Castleline.
So Martin Crompton, who and Carl Gibson just going to get ready to catch that ball. It hit the uprights, but picked it up with ease just before the Oldham defence caught up with him. So it's Rovers, 2 tries and 2 goals to the good. Joe Nadioli there comes to a tackle, so it's Brendan Tutor trying to bring the ball out of defence. Number 12, Joe Famalo making the tackle, so it's Sutherwood with the ball now there to Steve Malloy. Steve Malloy trying to get his momentum, trying to get into top gear, but just got out of setting on that movement. So it's Richard Gunn over the halfway line. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood now there to Mark Nixon. Mark Nixon there looking for this snare side again from Alfie Goldborn's corner. And Alfie Goldborn picks the ball up inside his own try line, runs the ball out. Good play that by the Oldham number 2. So it's Paul Topping to Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton gives it to Stevie Gartland. Stevie Gartland there trying to do a Brett Roger. So Martin Crompton to Mike Kawiti. Ball back inside there to Paul Davidson. Tackle 10 metres inside that Rovers half of the field. So it's Martin Crompton to Gary Burns. Gary Burns there couldn't get that ball away in the tackle, and Leo Casey coming across making the tackle. So it's Darren Abraham to Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton there nearly through the gap, but that's good defence by Rovers. Brendan Tota there and Brett Rogers spotting that movement. So it's Darren Abraham, that little kick over and the ball out on the full. That'll be the ball back. It's the last tackle, so that'll be the changeover. So Rovers 12 points to the good, but Oldham still looking dangerous. We're inside the last 15 minutes of this Stones Bitter Division 1 match here at Post Office Road. Featherstone Rovers desperately needing another score to really put this game beyond Oldham, but while Oldham are still 12 points behind, they only need 2 tries and 2 goals, and it can easily be done in this modern game of rugby league. And once again, you've just seen an absolutely excellent, superb run by Leo Casey. So it's number 15, Richard Gunn, over the halfway line. And Craig Richards there, sticking to Richard Gunn there. Oh! Well, I think that number 10, I think it is Jason Timo there. I think a rush of blood went to his head there, and he struck out there at Richard Gunn while Richard Gunn was on the floor, and everybody saw that. Unbelievable.
Get Nick on to him out. Tell him he thought he was playing the ball. Right, Alan, got you.
Well, that just goes to show you what the touch must have said. He's got Craig Richards, and it was clearly number 10. Yes, it's Jason Timo. Well, I'm sorry to say, but I'm absolutely baffled with that decision. Penalty kick to Oldham is here, Jason Timo. So after all that, Richard Gunn gets 10 minutes in the sin bin, and Craig Richards gives the ball to Featherstone Rovers. Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers goes back inside. Good run that by Brett Rogers. So it's Joan Adioli looking for the halfway line. Tackled 2 metres short. So it's Frederick Bonke from acting half-back. So it's Graham Sutherwood. Graham Sutherwood there gives the ball there to Mark Nixon, who's had a superb kicking game today, Mark Nixon. Every time Mark Nixon kicked the ball in the first half, Rovers got points on the board. So it's Steve Malloy. We're inside that Oldham 20-metre area. Are we going to see a drop goal on the cards here? Rovers just need one more score to me to be safe, and Graham Sutherwood knows that. And the ball did just shaving the upright. And Steve Malloy there having to tell the referee that an Oldham player had touched the ball. An Oldham player touched the ball on the way towards the ball going dead, and referee on that occasion got it right. A drop goal, a drop out it is to Oldham from underneath their own post. So Martin Crompton, that big drop kick downfield. And so Phil Strong works from the Rovers coach. That's down here on the touchline side, saying to the Rovers players, catch the ball. And I must agree, he's right on that occasion, the Rovers coach, because if there's a ball in the air, it should be caught, because you all could see what happened on that occasion. And referee blowing up. So Mark Nixon there feeds the scrum, gets the ball from the scrum, runs it in, rightly so, and Gary Burns makes the tackle on the Rovers scrum half. So it's Leo Casey. He's had a strong game, as Leo. Up to that Oldham 20-metre area on the second tackle. So it's Matt Callan. Matt Callan runs across field, but Paul Davidson there makes the tackle. Tries to get rid of the ball in an impossible situation, and Rovers lose possession on the second tackle. That time Rovers just losing the way. So just about 6 or 7 minutes left for play in this half, plus injury time. And that's a good tackle that by Brendan Toter on Jason Tomo. And it's Martin Crompton. Martin Crompton up to the halfway line. That's the fifth and last. Oh, that's a knock on. That should be the changeover. And that knows Davis Stevenson no good at all, kicking the ball, throwing the ball away, because that's vital seconds missing off the Oldham time for Oldham to get back into this game. It's still Featherstone Rovers 3 tries, 7 goals, 26 points. Oldham 2 tries, 3 goals, 14 points. So Graham Sutherwood is just about on that halfway line, gets that ball there to Carl Gibson. But number 15 there, David Bradbury, makes the tackle. So it's Sutherwood to Brendan Toole to switch a direction. David Bradbury there making the tackle. So it's Steve Malloy. Through the first line of defence, Steve Malloy looking for that Oldham 20-metre line. And Jason Timu again absolutely losing his head here. Jason Timu there going in with the head, but yeah. Well, I said last time that Jason Timu had gone in with the boots, but he didn't get penalised, and this time he's gone in with his head. And Jason Timu this time getting the red card. He was lucky on the last occasion. This time, Jason, you're not lucky. You only deserve what you get out of this game of rugby, and that time putting the boot in first, then this time an headbutt on Steve Malloy. And he just lost his cool, and he's been sent off the field for good. So a chance here for Frederick Bankay to put this game without any shadow of a doubt beyond Oldham. strikes the ball, and Frederick Banquet must have left his kicking boots in the dressing room at half-time because he misses that by a long way. Still got 7 goals and a try to his name, Frederick Banquet, but on that occasion, just losing his concentration. So Matty Callan being substituted, and Alex Thompson comes onto the field for Rovers. And once again, Joe Nadioli doing the limbo dance there on the field. And Craig Richards making the tackle. So it's Brendan Toter, not much room to work, Oldham moving up quick on that play of the ball. So it's Graham Sutherwood to Leo Casey. He's over the halfway line, Leo still going. Really strong game by Leo Casey. Mark Nixon had an excellent first half, and Frederick Banquet's been a point scoring machine in this match. So it's Sutherwood to Alex Thompson. And Martin Crompton there making the tackle on the Rovers, number 14. We're on the last tackle. So Mark Nixon there kicks the ball through. It's all on. It's a good kick that, and Alfie Goldburn has to pick the ball up. Runs in goal over his own goal line. Drop kick out for Oldham from the thrown post. So there we go, Freddie Bonke, Rovers man of the match. 7 goals and a try to his name, 14 points. And who can deny him the man of the match, although I think that Mark Nixon and Leo Case is running very strong in this match. So Alex Thompson there gets that kick off, gives it to Brendan Toter on the charge.
Go on, Brendan, lad.
Somebody's lost a boot. So it's Frederick Bonke. 17 yards, 17 metres from them, that Oldham's post. So it's Leo Casey from the inside pass there by Steve Malloy. Once again, another good run that by Leo Casey. He's met some yardage in this half. So it's Alex Thompson, Alex Thompson! And Stevie Gartland there, just tapped to get him by round the collar. So it's Steve Malloy! There were no stopping Big Stevie there. He meant having a try, and that book could be the last try scored on this Post Office Road ground, but if not, if the supporters had anything to do with it, because they demand and they have the right to have Featherstone Rovers playing rugby league at Post Office Road. And Steve Malloy there, no stopping him, that try being set up first by Alex Thompson, that little run down the middle of the park. Stevie Garland getting across to make the try-saving tackle, and then a quick play of the ball. And Graham Sutherwood there fed Steve Malloy there on the charge. You know, just like an express train coming through, and there were nobody going to stop Steve Malloy there, planting the ball over the try line. It's Featherstone Rovers 30, Oldham 14, with a conversion to come from man of the match, Frederick Banquet. So here we are. The video camera's right behind him here. We'll be able to see how this ball goes, and he's shaded the post. It's just this side, saying shaded it. We're absolutely a mile off, but who cares? Rovers 30, Oldham 14.
Attention please, the Yorkshire credit card and West Riding lost pass have been found in the ground. If anyone's lost that, will they report to the public address box and the main staff.
So Martin Crompton gets the game underway. And it's that man again, Leo Casey. He'll drive it in. Alex Thompson gives the ball there to Carl Gibson. Oh, Carl Gibson with Owen Simpson on his shoulder. So Carl Gibson there. So Richard Gunn back onto the field after his 10 minutes in the sin bin. Carl Gibson over the halfway line from that Steve Malloy pass. Oh, and Dave Topping, ball Topping here. So it's Alex Thompson there. To Brendan Toulter there to Brett Rogers there to Steve Malloy, to Frederick Bonke kicks that ball on, and Frederick Bonke he's absolutely brought the house down. Absolutely magic stuff. Alex Thompson to Brendan Toulter to Brett Rogers to Steve Malloy to Frederick Bonke, nowhere to run. I'll chip the ball forward he did, followed his own kick up, picked the ball in mid-air and just went round the full-back as if it didn't exist to flatten the ball between the post. His second try of the match for Frederick Bonke, and Frederick Bonke giving the ball to Carl Gibson. Well, that's an excellent gesture there from Frederick Bonke, because Carl Gibson says, let me have a kick at goal. I want to get 2 points for Rovers in today's match, and that's an excellent gesture that by Frederick Bonke, which could be virtually the last kick of the match. So Carl Gibson just side-foot it over the post. It's Rovers 36, goal to Carl Gibson, Oldham 14. So there goes the final Ulter here. Keep watching it. From Post Office Road, tremendous scene now in the middle. I'll just give you the scorers for Featherstone Rovers. Frederick Bonke 2 tries, Matt Callender try, Mark Nixon a try, Steve Malloy a try, Carl Gibson 1 goal, and Frederick Bonke 7 goals. In reply, Oldham 14, Darren Abraham a try, Joe Famalo a try, and Paul Topping 3 goals. Rovers 30, Oldham 14, and the scenes here absolutely unbelievable out in the middle of the field. A fine into the season for Rovers, and both these sides do not know what they're doing next year. Both have finished in the first division on merit. What will happen? It's in the land of the gods. Let's be hopes that we're seeing Oldham play down on this field next year at Post Office Road. Great scenes here at Post Office Road. And everybody in the stand standing up, and like there should be, an absolutely great occasion here at Post Office Road. Sight for sore eyes if anybody wants to see a sight like this. It's absolutely unbelievable. You've got to be here to salt the atmosphere up. So there we are, quite unforgettable scenes here at Post Office Road. And like I've just said previously, let's just hope that these two teams are playing rugby league football on this ground next year, because that's not only what the Featherstone Rovers people want, it's what the Leeds supporters want, the Wings supporters, every supporter in the land wants Featherstone Rovers to stop in the rugby league and keep Post Office Road alive, and more of all, keep the name Featherstone Rovers going. That's it.
Now, what can you get a man who's got nothing? I don't know. So, everything. So I've started at the bottom. As anybody who knows Andy well, or anybody who knows him at all, they'll realise that he'll take anything off he wants. Hats, coats, scarves. So Andy, I've just got you a bit of some. I hope you're not offended. And if I give you this hat, can I have mine back you took last week?
Feel like you're going to have a photograph taken again, don't you?